I want to show you this chart that could show you the top of this market so you could walk away with millions and come out of this game like an absolute boss. Make massive gains. If it sounds interesting, drop the like, game, subscribe. I'm just looking at my screen. This one's an interesting one. Take a look at this. Again, not financial advice, but this one really can guide people. I think it could change a lot of people's lives if you understand where you are in the market, right? I've got Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. I really highly recommend you guys get this up so you can follow this. If you don't have the pro version for trading view, then just like and subscribe, stick to the channel, because I'm going to show you this, right? I've got Bitcoin on a weekly time frame. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moving averages, 5 of them which are EMA averages, which is exponential moving averages, and then I've got one simple moving average, which is the 50-week moving average, this orange line. When you combine them together, it's a powerful chart, guys. Trust me, it is. Like, this really could change a lot of people's lives. Let's go right back, right? And just to keep it simple, all we're focusing on is just the lines, the colors of the lines. Forget the circles that I've got here. This is for another video, but we're focusing on the lines. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find where is the peak of the market, right? How can you get out of this market near enough at the top so you can come out just with millions or huge amounts of money? Some people find it hard to do because they don't look at the chart. And I keep telling you, find someone that can help you understand the charts so you know exactly where to leave, right? I'm going to break this down. I highly recommend you get this up. If you can't, like and subscribe, you're going to see it on this channel. No, just really quick, right? Notice that when the bull market is raging and it's really happening, we see price action break above this green line. It comes above the orange and the blue, but relatively stays above the green, and it bounces. It bounces. You might see, sorry about the cough. You might see a wick come down, but it never ever breaks this orange line, which is that 50 moving average, the simple moving average. That's one of the most popular moving averages in this entire planet. Like, everybody that trades crypto or stocks, whatever it is, they use this 50-week moving average. But most of all, we want to see it bouncing off of this green line, which is this one right here, the 21 moving average. And again, on the weekly time frame. See how it holds great support. Bodied candles above this green line. It bounces, it bounces, it bounces. You see a beautiful rally. So we're going to try and identify the top, but I want you to understand how these lines work and why they're so significant. Because when there's a bear market, when the trend is reversed and things are coming down, you start to notice weaknesses through these lines. Meaning when it starts to break this green line, which is the 21 moving average, right? This one here, when it breaks it, you start to see weakness in the price. You want to identify the top, one, but you also want to identify when to get out, because some people miss it. Some people don't sell here. They miss it thinking it's going to keep going up, but really the trend has already changed on you. It's coming down. You're going to lose everything, right? If you break this green line, expect it to come down to this orange line, which is the 50-week moving average. It's the strongest moving average that we have today, right? People, everyone, all of your favorite influencers that understand chart analysis, they pay attention to this line. If it breaks this line, expect it to fall down to this blue line and then hold support, right? You can see here that price comes down to the orange line. We try to break above again. We foul. We break it. We come down to this blue line. Expect us to hold support for a period of time. And this blue line, just so you guys can see, is this one here, the 100 moving average. I'm flashing it on and off, right? If we break this blue line, this is it. This is sort of like you've missed the top of the market. You're in sort of like a bear market. You still have plenty of weeks to consider taking profits. Sometimes people are naive to it and they hope that we can still go back up. But if you're watching this chart and you've got it up and you're paying attention, or if you're watching the channel, you will see that this is weak, man. This is like, you don't have much. Well, you do have time, but you don't have much time to really consider taking. I mean, look, put it like this. It's come down here, sit about $5,000 as an example. It shoots up to $8,000. That would have been a great time to take profits. Comes back down to 5,000 again. You know, and it hovers around there. If it breaks this blue line, it's coming down to this pink line. And this has kind of been true for most of the recent cycles that we've seen. And even if with things like the C19, you can see the breakage, you can see the weakness and how low it came down. And these lines, it's hit them perfectly. That's why I've got these numbers up. They're moving averages that many influencers don't, or just people that, you know, trade, they don't use these numbers. They don't use the 300 moving average on a weekly time frame. I use it because I like to look for bodied candles where they close and how low they go. And you can see right here, this is where the body candle kind of held support in the last cycle, right? And again, you can use it for future reference here, right? So we're going to talk about that. So from like, put it like this, I've been in this game for many years. I've been in the crypto since 2015. I used to do forex trading, all of these things, options, the whole lot, many years ago, right from 2009, 10, maybe 2010. And I've made a lot of mistakes. So because of my mistakes, I've learned along the way. I learned about these standard moving averages like the 21 and the 50 and the 100, the 200. And I've just realized that these are the ones that work well when you put them all together, because you can create a clear picture of everything, right? We're going to analyze the top, but I want you to understand the lines, right? Let's take a look at where we are today, right? Or in the last cycle. Last cycle, we see price action above the green. We see it break the green. That's your sign of weakness. It comes to this orange line. Remember, if it breaks the green, expect it to come to the orange, which it did. It bounced off it. This is the 50-week moving average, came straight back above. We saw a second top, and then it came and it broke this orange line. It finally broke the 50-week. And at that point, people were still unsure back then. Now we're talking 2021. People thought we might go higher one more time. But if you was watching this and you'd seen that you'd broke the 50-week, this orange line, you would have seen we're coming down to the blue line. And look, you don't have much time or a couple of months to really try and figure out, are you staying in this game or are you getting out? Because once you break this blue line, all hell lets loose, because you're talking massive, massive dumps. Like the market is just going to absolutely, I can't get it up. They're just going to absolutely dump on you. Let me see if I can find a price range. Here we go. So from this blue line straight down to hell, 57% dump. If you had $1 million at that point from that dump, if you didn't sell, your $1 million is now $430,000. It's a big dump. And that's just based on you holding Bitcoin. Because if you hold altcoins, 90% dump, decimated, gone, you're out. You've lost everything. $1 million can turn to $100,000 super fast. So this is why these lines become important, because we can now get a clear picture of the where we are in the market just by looking at these lines. You can see the bottom of the market, this dark, what is it, the 480 moving average. No one shows you that. No one's even brought it up. But this is like just the devil's line. And actually, for people up here, it's disgusting, because you bought at the top, you're left with the bag. And unfortunately that happens, because in order for you to make millions, someone has to come along and buy it at this price. They have to think that this is an absolute good buy for them to want to buy, so you can sell it to them. And then, for them it's horrible. But for those that buy down here, it's a legendary buy, because it doesn't come down here often. When you see these drops, like here on the orange line, on the pink line, it doesn't come down here often. So when it does, you have to treat it like it's the legendary buy. And if you treat it like it's a legendary buy, you can ride it. You can take it from there, ride it all the way up, make absolute life-changing gains. You come out a millionaire, multi-millionaire. You see? So this is why these lines are significant. Like and subscribe to the channel. How do you find the top then? Because essentially, where are the tops? The top's here. Now you're probably thinking, but these lines, even the green line, doesn't show me the top. It shows me when the top is already maybe coming and then prices are breaking and coming down. So how do we see it? You have to use another indicator along with these moving averages. And I'm going to click because I've already got it up. It's this one right here. This is the RSI, Relative Strength Index. And what it does, for those that are new, is it tells you when prices are overbought for a certain coin and oversold. If you see this blue line come up, and if you look closely, you got this sort of like blue zone, you got dotted lines going across. If you see it break above and it comes up here, forget these yellow arrows for the minute, right? Because they're for something else. I'm going to show you that. But we're focusing on this blue line. If you see the blue line, let me just extend this even more. If you see this blue line come right up, break above these dotted lines, now we're in this territory of like overbought territory. People are buying so much. If you see it come above, let's say 89 level, that's a seriously good time to maybe consider taking profits usually. But here's the thing. You've got it on the weekly time frame. You're looking at it through this lens now of it's come up here to 89, but that's not the top of the cycle. Look, because when you look at it, you're seeing it's right here. The top is here. I'm saying to you here an 89 level, right? So then you're going to say, well, how do you make it so it's at the top of the cycle, like near enough at the top? Because this right now on the weekly time frame is giving a false signal. So here's what you can do. And you're going to have to use both, right? Because you want to identify the top, which means you're going to have to use both. Let's quickly come back to this one as a fine example. Look, it doesn't matter which one we're on. So I've drawn a white line across on the RSI. If you want to get these indicators up, click on indicators, search RSI, it pops up, right? You'll see it like mine. It might be a purple sort of line. You can change it to blue. But I've drawn this white line. You can hold ALT and tap the letter H. Look, if I click ALT and H, it creates a line, yeah? I'll put it at the 89 mark. You can see here, 89, this thick white line is 89, which means that when this blue line comes up to the 89 level, I'm going to analyze it on two time frames, the weekly time frame, because if you look, it's only done it twice. It was close here, but it didn't get it. It did it here, it peaked above it here, and it peaked above it here, right? So we've seen two, 1, 2. One of those was correct. One of them was a false signal. I wouldn't really call it a false signal. It just means that it was overbought at that time period. So the first one was here. Now, you can't use just one time frame, like I said, the weekly time frame. This is when we switch it to the monthly, because if you just use the weekly, you're selling there. You're not selling at the top. You want to sell here. So how do we do it? We take the weekly time frame and then we flip it to the monthly. Now, this is when pro traders, like smart, well, not traders, investors, pro investors get this right, yeah? Pro investors get this right. So we're going to switch this now. I just made that green line on the last time frame, right? What am I doing? I've gone too high up. Let's come down. Bitcoin's like 200 million. So you can come over to the monthly time frame, and then we can look again to see if it's matching up to the past, where the past peaked way higher. This is your euphoric tops. You can see it. You can see where the RSI is peaking. So with this green line, we now know that this isn't the absolute top. But in the past, it was showing a higher level on the RSI, which is 96. And this is why many smart investors look at the monthly time frame, because you get a bigger, broader perspective of where things are. You want to sell right here, which is the top of the cycle, which means you want to wait for this to sort of come up and at least reach this sort of 95 level. It doesn't confirm that it's always going to do it, or meaning people, the chart, when you look at charts, we can't always confirm that it's going to do it. But this gives us a nice clean insight to, if it does do it, where you should be selling. So this here, I can draw, well, what I've done, if you look closely, I've actually got a green, dotted line and a gold dotted line, which is sort of like my window of opportunity. I've drawn the green and the gold, these dotted lines, right? And you can do it as well. Same way as you draw a line, ALT and H, you can change that and put it to dots or dashes, right? So what I've done is I've created a window of opportunity, like a box, meaning that when this RSI comes into this box zone, I'm going to look at it and see where we are. Now there's two here in this space, right? So we're going to have a look what I mean by two, right? So if you have a look here, it's peaked up twice. This blue RSI peaked up here, which means if I was to sell, I would have sold here, which, to be fair, is not that far from the top. And then we saw a pullback, and another opportunity was here, right? Which was the top. Oh, I've done it wrong. Hold on. Right here. We want this one here. So what you can do, right? So this would have been the first attempt to look at it. This would have been the second. This is what I would have done. If I had seen this blue RSI come up to here, the 94 level, because I'm looking on the right, I can see it says 94, I would have taken some profits off the table. Now this right here isn't the absolute top, right? But as a smart investor, you have to say to yourself, where are you getting in? How much money have you made? How close are you to the top? Are these indicators signaling that it could be the top? And that's what you have to do as a smart investor to walk away with millions. Because if you're buying down here, like I've done many a times, I've bought near enough at the bottoms of these markets many a times. And if you're buying here and then you're riding up to this first green line here, 2,600% profit is great. For anyone that got in on Bitcoin back then, it's great, right? So this would be my first take profit. I would take something off the table and then I would see what happens, which obviously in this case it fell down. Sometimes you don't get two opportunities of this here. So this is an interesting area. The second opportunity came up, it marked the top, right? If you look forward, you're only getting one opportunity every time, which means that the last, if you're here 2021 cycle, where it was euphoric, it was crazy. This was it. Your blue line, it came up once. It peaked into this green zone, and actually it went to like a 91 level. So actually when it gets to like the 89, 90 level, again, it's still good to look. It's good to look to see what's going on. This on the monthly time frame could confirm it, that you're actually peaking. And look, right up here, this one actually marks the top. Yeah. So again, this is going to be your best way to tell when you're peaking up at the top of this cycle so you can walk away with millions. And then you just want to pay attention to these lines as well, because if you miss it and you haven't sold this when this RSI is up at a 90 level, because if you look where we are right now, today we're down here. We've never actually came up and touched 90. I think we could. I think we could see this blue line come up. And I think euphoria and excitement will come. I think this will come up like this somewhere. Obviously, maybe not exact, but something like that. And then we will roll over and come down. This is what I'm expecting in the future. And I'm going to make it the same color so you can see, right? Something like that. And when this happens right here, when we see this euphoria kick in and this line comes right up here, when it's extremely overbought, everybody's excited, everybody's hyper, everybody wants to buy the new coin, everybody's chasing new coins because you're in a coin that hasn't pumped up or anything, and then you sell all your crypto and buy this one, and then the one you was in just pumps and goes crazy. When that happens, I'm selling everything, because this on the monthly time frame is going to give me the good indication that it's it. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for, right? So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to look at all these lines, and then I'm going to make my decision. Now look at this. On the monthly time frame, it only shows 3 averages. It doesn't show all these other ones that I've got highlighted. That's because enough time hasn't elapsed for them to show, but they will do in the years to come. This is why it's good to flip it back to the weekly, so you can have a look and see all of these lines together, get a better picture of what's going on, see where you are, how safe are we, how's the market looking. I know that if it breaks this green line and it comes down to the orange line, it's going to be a test of, can we still be in this game? Is the market still bullish? If it breaks this orange line, comes down to the blue line, that's the time I got to start thinking about taking serious profits off the table, because I think the market's done. And this is what we want to look for. Weakness, signs of weakness. If we break this orange line down to the blue line, it's weak. If we keep testing this blue line, like we've come down, we've come up, we're testing it again. We're testing it again. It's done, guys. And this is what we need to look for. So we've had, like in this last sort of 2024, 2025, we've came and tested this orange line twice or 3 times. One here, but we haven't broke it, right? And this is why we've been able to keep continuing this bull cycle. And then one here. Some people don't think we're in a bull trend, but I think we are. I think we've been in a bull cycle since right down here. When do you consider the market to be at its bottom? Or when do you consider the bull market to happen? You see, in order for a bull rally, you have to have prices go up. And if this was the bottom down here, $15,000, and now Bitcoin's up here, it's had a rally. It's rallied all the way up here. And since 15,000, it's gone up 592%. And sometimes people are blinded by that, and it's a shame. But I don't want you to be blinded. I want you to be focused. I want you to be on your full attention. So when you leave, you know exactly what you're doing. Or when you watch this channel, you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking out for. We're going to keep looking at this on the weekly time frame, because the weekly time frame will tell us if the market's going to roll over and die. And if we want to spot that top, we're going to look for this RSI on both time frames, the weekly and the monthly. So the weekly one right now is down here. When we see this blue line come up to here, the 89 level, I'm going to take a look at it on the monthly time frame to see if it does look like it's peaking out. Because if I look at it and it's on 89 here, but then when I go back to the other one. Where is it? Right here on the monthly time frame. And I see that there's still more room, like here, to peak up to this green line. Then I'm going to wait. Right? I'm going to wait. But we'll see what happens as time goes on, and we'll see if it can give us this ultimate signal of selling at the top. I still think we'll reach 122,000. It might surprise me and go way higher, but I do think it's going to be the last final rally. And I think that this RSI up here will reach right up here somewhere, and that's going to be it, just like what we saw here. And then it'll just be lights out. And the ones that are smart enough, that are paying attention, will take the massive gains. You live your great life, you look after your kids, your family. And the ones that aren't paying attention will just end up with nothing. And it's a shame, because they will just be waiting, hoping that it's going to go higher one last time for it to go higher. And it doesn't. It just comes down and down and down, and then that's it. They capitulate. Everybody's angry, frustrated at the bottom, and then yeah, the cycle just repeats. And this is why this chart's good, because you don't just look for the top. You can also see where the bottom's going to be and where the buy of an opportunity is. So here's what you should do, and it's not financial advice. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. When we see the top of the cycle come in, right, sell everything, or 80% of your bags if you want to leave a bit holding because it might go higher, fine. This is what I would do. I'm going to sell everything, and I'm going to sit back for years. Just got to keep it real, because I now know that the bottom of the cycle is going to be down here at this disgusting red devil line. That's all I can say. Or at least on even orange or the red, because this is how low we've come before. And actually, we've tested this orange and red many times. That orange tested down here. So I have to believe that it's going to come down here in the future. Right now, based on where these lines are moving, the red is sitting on $33,000, which means in the future, it's likely that Bitcoin could come down to there. Actually, I don't think it will, because these moving averages are slowly moving up. So maybe in the future it comes to like $40,000 or something like that. Yeah. But this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for taking profits at the top, sitting back for years, letting it come right down, and then buy the absolute bottom and run this whole wave again, this whole cycle with new exciting coins, new narratives, new trends, new everything. And then, yeah, it just keeps going. And then people just keep making money, the ones that pay attention anyway. So I'm going to leave it here. This was a bit of an interesting one. If it's helpful, drop a like and subscribe. What do you think? Do you think that this is helpful? Can you see what I see? Can you see how to use this and apply it? Like I said, on the weekly time frame, you may get false signals, meaning that at that time it is very overbought, but we want to look to see how it measures up with the rest of the market on the monthly time frame, because selling there, yes, it's still good, but it's not the absolute top, and it's hard to call the top. Because what's happening, actually, before I go, what's happening here is this thing called a bearish divergence. So what happens is you have a high, and then you have another high, and then another high, and another high. And as the market's price is going higher and higher and higher, you've got this divergence where the RSI is making a low, and then another low, and then another low. And that's what forms this disgusting drop at the end. And what this means is that there's no new money coming into the market. All you've got is old money, or the money that's here, just cycling through different coins, chasing other coins, chasing the pumps. You've got no new money coming in. So what happens is it forms a divergence. Means no new money's coming in. Everything was overbought. Now people are, the smart money's taking profits. It's, you know, selling, and then you see the disgusting drop. So you want to identify these divergences, because they can be very powerful, and they can be disgusting and devastating for some if you're not on top of it, right? So that's what I'm paying attention to. We do have one happening, actually. You can see it here, and I'm going to show you real quick. And it's been happening since March of 2024. Right, so look at this. We had a high, we had another high, and then we had another high, right? So as it stands, this next high, let's have a look. We've got here, look, the divergence. We've got a low, another low, and another low. It can be devastating in the future. And this is why I think we may only have one cycle left. Yeah, I'm supposed to have gone, but I just want to show you this. Pay attention to these divergences. They're disgusting. They can decimate people. So at some point, if we do reach this 122,000 or beyond, that's going to be the top for me. I think that's going to be the calling card. And if there's blue lines up here giving me my signal, and I'm looking on the monthly time frame, and it's also giving me that signal that this is the top, because again, on the month, look, real quick before I go, on the weekly time frame, you can see it happen many times. Look, it can come up. These spikes can happen often, right? But on the monthly time frame, and this is why you should look at the monthly time frame and be a long-term investor, you near the time you're just getting 1 or 2 signals. You see, 1 or 2 confirmations that this is the top. You see, look at this RSI, straight up here, top, straight up here, top, and then I'm expecting it again. So when this blue RSI comes up here, that's it, top. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. I will see you in the next video. Cheers.
Never be defeated.